What do you actually have to do to get a job as a probation officer? I'm going to share with you all the things that I know from when I started out as a probation officer, so you know the answer by the end of watching this video. Alright, first thing you have to do, you have to be open-minded. Open-minded means you are going to be meeting a lot of people from lots of different walks of life that are very different from you, or maybe even similar to you in some ways, but you've got to be open-minded in that not everybody's experience is the same. Not everyone's experience of life is the same as yours, or other people you've met, other people you've worked with, other people in your family. You have to be open-minded that people can change, that people may not want to change, and that people can change when the situation is right. You have to keep an open mind about how you are actually working with people, because these are people that have had traumatic lives, that have been treated unfairly by society, that have been treated unfairly by the justice system. They come with a lot of stuff. You need to be very open-minded when working with them. You need to have some degree of flexibility about you, because this is a kind of job where no one thing can happen in one day. A probation officer job is a kind of job where you need to have a high degree of flexibility about you, because no one day is the same, no one situation is the same, no one person is the same. So how you might have dealt with one person may not be how you deal with another person. You've got to have some flexibility in how you deal with maybe your managers, your work colleagues, but most importantly, some flexibility in how you are actually dealing with the people you're working with, the service users, the offenders, the people that have committed the crime. You've got to have some flexibility that things can change, decisions you make can change, behaviours can change, people can change, and resources might not be available. You may have to figure out different routes. You may have to problem solve in a new creative way, because when resources are low, it means we have to start thinking a bit differently. And this is a common thing with probation, because it is a public sector organisation. Resources are commonly quite low. So having a degree of flexibility can really help. Now, a probation officer job is one where you have to be prepared to travel. So before COVID, this was more so, but it may be changing now where more things are moving online, but you will have to travel to prisons that may be out of your area, so you may have to get the train, you may have to drive if you drive. So just knowing that you may have to drive to go to some certain meetings or home visits, just be prepared for that. In terms of if you actually really want this job and there's only 2 job offers in your location, be prepared to travel maybe a little bit while you do your training, or relocate if you can, obviously depending on family circumstances. I know now as a mum it's very difficult to uproot your family, but for a short period of time, maybe consider, can I actually do that travelling? How much do I really want this job? One thing I will definitely say is be prepared to try other roles. Sometimes we think the probation officer job is the only ultimate role, and the only way to get there is fall straight out of uni into that job. Well, actually, that's not always the reality. Before I got my probation officer role, I tried loads of different jobs within probation because it wasn't available at that time, so I kind of had to do something while I waited for them to open up the applications. And it really helped me actually know probation, understand the criminal justice system, and really get comfortable with working with offenders. I only got to that place by actually doing other roles. So what other roles are there that you can do? I'll put a list here. Reception, admin, unpaid work supervisor, voluntary roles. There are a whole host of roles that you can do before doing your probation officer. There are also loads of roles within the criminal justice system, like caseworker roles, key worker roles for lots of the different agencies who work with probation. So I know there's a lot of domestic violence worker roles, there's drug and alcohol support worker roles, there's housing support worker roles. So there are other avenues that you can get your experience before coming over to probation. So my main thing is, it's okay to not come straight out of uni into the probation officer job, because there are other ways to get in there are other routes. You can also get a job as a probation service officer. So if you type this in, it will come up on their website, HMPPS, and a probation service officer basically does pretty much the same job as a probation officer, but they don't hold high risk cases, they don't do pre-sentence reports, parole reports. There's certain things that you don't do that the qualified probation officer does, which is the ones that you guys are interested in who are doing the training. But in the meantime, that's nothing stopping you from applying for the probation service officer roles, because there will be a lot of them and you don't need qualifications, you just need the experience. If you feel that you need the extra kick to stay motivated, to stay persistent, to stay dedicated and have that self-discipline, then the pre-probation program is going to be perfect for you. I will leave all the links below and all the details of how you can sign up, because it is coming very soon.